Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. Tyler Pador, say what's up.
What up? What up?
And we are joined by Tyler Burch. How you doing, big dog?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us, coming on, doing this thing with us. Got to know, how is spring training in Arizona going for you? You spent some time in Florida, but you're now in the big AZ. How's it going?
It's been good. Yeah, the facility is amazing. It's nice that, everybody's in one spot. That makes it pretty convenient. With the Orioles, we had two separate facilities, so a lot of back and forth. But no, I love it. The coaching staff is great. I'm meeting a lot of new guys, and it's been good. So,
Any familiar faces in the organization once you got here? Did you really know anybody?
So I actually haven't talked to him yet, but I played collegiate summer ball with Tolia back in 2016, and then Jack O'Loughlin. We share the same agent, so he's from Australia. I've played baseball over in Australia, so we have a lot of connections that way. But those are the only two guys that I knew coming into the Rockies org.
That makes sense. Adam McKilligan, we'll get into it. I don't know if you'll see him. I know he's rehabbing and he's doing some stuff, but he played in AIA. He played at Gwinnett and what was the school? The British Columbia.
UBC.
Yeah.
University of British Columbia. Yep. They were in my conference. So I played against them a lot.
Yeah. So do you recognize the name?
I don't know how old he is.
You guys might have crossed paths. We'll get Mike on it, aka Tyler. We'll look it up real quick. Because I was trying to figure it out because he won the NAIA World Series with Gwinnett in 2021.
Okay,
he was with BC in like 18-19.
Okay,
that.
I played at Lewis Clark State from 2016 to 2019.
So there might have been some crossover.
There may have been.
And you guys are the same age, like both 27 right now. So.
Oh, okay. I don't recognize the name, but I'm sure we played against each other.
Yeah, he's a big Canadian. He'll stand out to you if you see him. Just say what's up, Big Maple, and tell him Blake Street Banter sent you. And
okay,
that'll be able to break the ice. If I don't know where he's at though. I know he's rehabbing. He's had some work done, and he's on the mend. So he should hopefully you see him soon. But so let's just get into it. NAIA started up in Idaho Falls, right? Lewis and Clark in Lewiston.
In Lewiston.
Lewiston, Idaho. But you played ball in middle of Washington, high school ball. Like, how did all that start?
Yep. So I grew up in Washington State. I was born in California, moved up north for my dad's job. Went through most of grade school, high school in a town called East Wenatchee, Washington. It's about 2 hours west of Spokane. So played high school ball there, and my collegiate summer coach played at Lewis Clark State, and that was kind of the bridge. Set me up with the workout there, through there, and they liked me, and I went straight there.
Like, no questions asked. Like, all right,
so
we're good.
Yeah. So my dad grew up in Lewiston, and I remember growing up and going to the NAIA World Series because they host it. That's where the site is, and I remember growing up and watching those games, and as soon as they offered me, I knew I was going to go there.
That's awesome. I bet your parents were kind of happy about that too, like not having to worry about all the stress that goes along with that.
They were ecstatic, and they lived close. My hometown is about 3.5 hours away. They were there every weekend. They watched me every weekend, and it was awesome.
Well, what was it like just growing up in that region, playing college ball up there? Because you think of Idaho, you don't connect it with college baseball. So just that whole region, what was the experience?
I truly think Idaho's a hidden gem. It's funny because now that I'm in Florida, East Coast, wherever it is, I tell people I played in Idaho, and they're like, "Where is that?" And they always say like, "How are the potatoes there?" Stuff like that. But I personally love it. I love the outdoors. I hunt and fish. And there's a lot of that there. Cold winters, warm summers, you get a lot of every season there. But baseball-wise, I mean, it was good. I think our shortest bus trip was like 5.5 hours. So, I mean, we're spread out through Oregon, Washington, British Columbia. So, yeah.
That's pretty fun. Like, Idaho, like we're learning more about Idaho the more we have conversations. Well, because like the Spokane piece of it comes into play a lot.
Yep.
I like one of our friends of the pod, Braden Ward, played at UW quite a bit. We have some people that grew up like he off seasons in Montana. And like he's like, yeah, I'm just out here doing the thing. And so like we're starting to know more about the Northwest up there.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'd spent most of my life there, and I will say now that I've been south for most of the years, a little bit warmer. I think I'll live south when I'm a little bit older. I don't know how I feel about snow anymore, but I mean it's definitely beautiful up there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like when you go hunting, what do you like to go hunting for?
Elk specifically.
Big elk hunting. All right.
Yeah, nice. Me and my dad, we go every year.
Are you ever successful? I know it's tough.
For me, it's about every other year. Yeah, but it kind of just depends. But yeah, I've harvested a couple over the years.
That's good work because my stepdad goes quite a bit in Montana. They're up in Montana now, and so he goes and it's like, yeah, it wasn't a good season for elk. We'll get him next year. But he does that every year. So
yeah, no, I can understand it. I just enjoy being out there. I mean, even if I don't, come out there successful, I enjoy being disconnected for 8 to 10 days. We get so consumed with our phones and social media every single day. It's nice to kind of have that mental reset. And, like I said, I just enjoy being up there. So.
Yeah, love that. I mean, mental reset coming into the Colorado Rockies organization. I tried to do a transition there. I don't know if it was as good as it could have been, but I don't think I mentioned earlier, but you joined the Rockies organization by the MiLB Rule 5 process from the Baltimore Orioles organization. So you spent some time in Bowie, spent some time playing against the Yard Goats a little bit.
Yep.
I guess. How did that process go? We have no idea who's ever eligible for the MiLB Rule 5 stuff. Do you have any idea you're eligible?
Well,
like, how does that go?
So you are eligible after your 4th season. Okay. So everybody, when they get drafted, signed, you have 7 years on your contract, your minor league contract, and after year 4, you become eligible. And to protect you for the minor league Rule 5, they have to put you on the AAA roster. Protect you for the big league Rule 5, they have to put you on the 40-man. And it just so happened that this offseason I wasn't put on the AAA roster, and I got picked up. So.
And how are you viewing that then?
It shows that they value me in one way or another. So, I mean, it feels pretty good.
And then you had that time in Arizona Fall League because you had that injury the last few years. What was the end of 23?
Yes.
Some kind of injury, right?
Yep. And then I ended up getting surgery at the beginning of 24. I tried throwing through it for a couple months and building back up, and we thought it would be best to go the surgery route. Spent 4 months rehabbing, rehab assignment for about a month, and then pitched in the Fall League.
Yeah, how are you feeling now? You got to pitch a little at the end of 24 and then ran into the Fall League. Just it's been a bit of a journey for you health-wise. So how are you feeling right now in March of 25?
I'm feeling great. I kind of had a late start to my buildup, so I'm throwing bullpens, feeling good. So yeah, no, I'm feeling good, and I'm excited for the 2025 season.
Sweet.
Yeah. Like Isaac says in the chat, pick second overall in the AAA phase is impressive in its own right. Like, I would 100% agree with that. Like, there's only one second pick, and the fact that the Rockies selected you from the Bay Sox, the Orioles is kind of telling, right? Like, that's pretty cool. So like you're coming from the Orioles organization. Tell us a little bit about your arsenal. I know you have a pretty nice fastball with a little off speed and the changeup going with it.
Yeah.
What is the off speed? Where are we sitting at with the fastball? How are we feeling going into 2025 with the arsenal?
Just to go over my arsenal, I got fastball, cutter, slider, changeup. I added the cutter midway through the 2023 season, and that turned into one of my best pitches. I go to that a lot. It used to be my slider, but now I go to the hard, gyro slider, cutter type pitch, and I seem to have found more success with that, steal more strikes, get a lot of weak contact with it. Changeup, I'm still trying to throw that a little bit more. But yeah, always confident in my fastball, just gripping it and ripping it. But, that's kind of, my MO.
Has that always been your MO? So going back to Lewis and Clark time to where you are now, have you always had that big fastball? Like you're sitting around what, mid 90s, high 90s?
Mid to upper.
Okay.
I've kind of been anywhere from 95 to 99. But I was a late bloomer in college. It's a whole story in itself, but I was 92 as a starter. When I got signed, I was actually a free agent pick in 2019. I wasn't drafted. So when people ask me like, oh, what round were you drafted? I just say 41st round.
Way easier than explaining it. I feel that.
But I was a late bloomer, got with the Phillies org, and they kept me as a starter for that summer. I was throwing about 93 up in Williamsport for short season, back when we had that. And then that off season was when I started throwing weighted balls, started doing, that Driveline-esque type program. And my velo went up from 90 to 93 to 94, 96. And yeah, kind of just took off from there.
Have you touched 100 in game before?
No,
I know you've got that 9 on there.
I wish. I want it bad. I'm gonna try to get it this year.
That's awesome. How much fun was it to learn a new pitch like the cutter? Like
it was pretty hard at first, because when you're put in an environment where you always have to be on your A game, right? It's always a audition every single day, right? When you add a new pitch, you may not have 100% confidence in it, and to throw it in a game, it takes a lot of confidence in yourself and the work that you've put in the preparation. And I just slowly over time, in 0-0 counts, or those, I don't know, earlier in counts was when I would throw it, try to build confidence in a game with it. And then slowly over time, I was like, hey, this is actually a pretty good pitch. I should, use this to my advantage. And, now it's one of my favorite pitches. So
that's awesome. And how does that conversation go with the catcher and the coaching staff with that pitch? Like you're saying, I'm going to start throwing it a little bit earlier. Is that your decision, like to do it in, or are you guys like building that up? Like, how does that go?
Yeah, because I would say like an 0-0 count it's a lot more comfortable of a time to throw it than like a 3-0 count, right? Or like a 3-1, So, I mean, just trying to pick times in the count when, you just let it eat and see what happens. And, that was kind of my thought process with it. And then, yeah, like I said, as confidence, started to build with that, then I can throw it 3-0. I don't care now. So
that's great. Like that arsenal coming into play. Like I love the high 90s, and then the cutter. Cutter's probably one of my favorite pitches to watch, just as a fan. Just like when you have that strong bite with that speed to it, like it's something different. So it's gonna be fun to watch you in that sense, like going forward. Like, all right, whether you're in Hartford or Albuquerque, it's like, all right, we're gonna see this cutter here. Like we're gonna need to see it. We're gonna see it on the 3-0, the 0-0. Not that there will ever be any 3-0 counts, but like
it doesn't matter the count. You might see it. So
that's awesome. I love that. You've had some time in Hartford. Have you pitched in Hartford?
Yes, I did once. We opened up there at the start of the 2023 season. It was cold. I remember that. But that stadium's awesome.
Yeah, we hear a lot of different vibes about Duncan Park, especially with like the weird right field, the double decker right field, but the massive center field out there. It's just always fun to get kind of people's take on it. Players, it's
fun. I've only thrown one inning there, so I mean, just from the environment to, I mean, I didn't give up a run that inning, so I had a good experience there. But no, I enjoyed it. It was a long bus trip to get there, which kind of sucked, but besides that, it was, it was a cool place to pitch. They get good fans too, so.
Yeah, a lot of people love going to the Hartford Yard Goats games. It's a good environment, good people out there. All right, 15 minutes is up. We got to know your arsenal. We got to get to know a little bit about your NAI stint. So we're gonna ask the tough questions now. Before we get out of here. I got two for you.
Okay.
First one is you're going from Bowie to Hartford. You're stopping at a gas station. What snacks? I had you set up so good. That was awesome. What are your go-to snacks for the car ride? Like what are you grabbing off the shelves?
Oh man, it's kind of. That's a really good question. I'm not a huge snacker. I don't know if I don't really talk about this much. I don't try to make it a big deal, but I am type 1 diabetic. So I try to avoid all of the sugary stuff as much as I can.
Yep.
But I do drink diet soda, so I would probably grab something like that. And then if I wanted, a carb-filled snack, I'd probably grab Pringles or, something like that, but nothing too crazy.
Pringles has been a very common answer. We've been
I love them.
asking everybody. Like Jordan Beck said, I'll grab any snack of Pringles out there. Brendan Hardy said it's got to be the cheddar cheese, the cheddar cheese flavor. So if you get to meet him, ask about the Pringles connection there.
Oh yeah,
I'm surprised by how hot it is right now, because my kids are asking for Pringles all the time too. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, Pringles have been out of my life for the last 15 years, but yet here I am, last 2 months, it's just Pringles like every other night. It's wild.
Yeah, I love them. So,
and then my very favorite question to ask, you get to be completely 100% selfish when you answer this.
Okay,
what is your favorite baseball moment for you personally?
It would probably be, it was my freshman year in college. It was when we won the NRI World Series. Yeah. That year we were dominant. We went, I think it was like 52-8, and we just rolled through the World Series. I mean, that was just an awesome group to be a part of. And it was something that I watched my whole life, and to finally experience it was definitely like an amazing feeling and experience for myself, my family, my teammates, and everything like that. So.
Love that. I love those kind of answers too. The team oriented answers are always fun. And when you get a World Series, that's always cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and McKillican have that in common too. And little NAIA and Lewiston connection there.
Yeah. I won 2 of them there. It was in 2016 and 2017. So
okay.
That's awesome. A ring for each hand,
Yeah, but we got a lot of hate, because all the way up until it was after my senior year, we got the auto bid. So the way that it worked is, because we hosted, theoretically we could go 0-50 and we would be in the World Series.
Yeah.
But we were never like that. We were always good. We were always good, and teams hated us for it. It was no matter what we did that year, we were in the World Series, and we got a lot of hate for that. But I mean, we backed it up. So
yeah, I mean, you're going 52-8. The haters can kind of stay off over there.
Yeah, exactly.
That is okay. Tyler, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being part of the Colorado organization. And we are watching. We got you. We'll hype you up as much as we can. It's one of our most fun things to do as this season goes. Go do your thing.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. It's been a fun experience.
Yeah, we'll keep in touch.
All right, take care, guys.
See you, man.
See you, Tyler.
Bye.
Awesome. All right, you say something cool while I get this set up.
I mean, I'm just glad that we didn't have a name mix up. I guess I'm not being asked questions during those segments, but at the beginning, you played it off well. You were about to say just Tyler say what's up, and it would have been could have been funny.
would have been a little weird, a little awkward. I can't find this.
We need Mike.
Where is Mike? We are lost without you, Mike. Here, there we go. We'll do that. Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I knew he had some heat, but I wasn't thinking touching 99, shooting for triple digits kind of heat. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I got to watch. I like coming into this, I wanted to make sure we were right on everything Arsenal wise, and I found his last outing from the 24 season. And I mean, he was kind of still building up. I think he hit 97 in that. And I was like, all right, this dude can rip it. And that was like his 6th game of the season. So
yeah, that's awesome. And he had some pretty decent numbers in the Arizona Fall League. He's got his feet a little wet. So it's go time. And Tyler Burch, we love our Rule 5 picks here, I guess, with Brendan Hardy and Ella Burch. So it's exciting stuff. So the starting, he'd be a starter, right?
No, he's full-time pen. And to give him a little shout out, 174 pro innings. He's got a 3.71 ERA, 9.6 strikeouts per 9, a little more than 1 an inning. So he's had a really solid career to this point. He spent most of his time in AA. So he's up there. He's a dog.
Yeah, his grind is tough. I was looking at those 4 seasons at AA right now, but 2 of those were injury riddled seasons, which is just terrible luck, because he was shoving before that injury. All right, road to Blake Street Banter. We are here to talk prospects in all minor league baseball, but before all that, get all the dirty work out of the way. Our top 40 list has been released slowly. I think we got to our top 10 today, 8, 9, 10 with the outfielders. Yankiel, I don't even know who else is on it. It's been a whirlwind. The work you're doing behind the scenes is absolutely insane, like how you're keeping up with it. But you can go to BlakeStreetBanter.com, find all of those. We are slowly releasing until Sunday. We'll release our number 1 prospect article right around the breakout prospect game, which we might be having a watch party with. I haven't talked to management yet, but we will. We're in the works to possibly be watching the spring breakout game together at 5 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. But we'll let you know with that. And while you're still listening to me ramble on, go ahead and share, follow this, send it to your mama. We are her favorite podcast. She just doesn't know it yet. Introduce her to Tyler Burch. Tyler Burch could be her favorite player right now. And that's the whole point of this. We have us. We have the boys at Blake Street Banter, Noah and Patrick, doing their thing on Tuesdays, and then the best of the West, Skylar and K-Dub, doing their thing on Wednesdays, and continue to do things in the background to make cool content. We are working hard. We are trying to figure stuff out. So do all that, please, and go ahead and leave a comment in the chat. Leave a comment in the YouTube. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review if you want, and say something nice about Tyler. I don't know.
And don't leave us a 4-star review. Somebody did that. That's it. Come on.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to get the 5th?
We need that 5 stars. Whatever we need to do. Maybe we don't say the word armbar.
I guess that's what it was. Yeah.
Maybe it was him. He was on some kind of vendettas. If you're listening, if you're still sticking around, I'm sorry, dog. I'm sorry for saying the word armbar, but it's fun for me, and I'm going to say it, and it makes sense. And so armbar and bullpen are synonymous of the Rockies bullpen / armbar. It is okay. Isaac Stevens, no. Ronaker Palma is not BSB's number 1 prospect, but we do love a little Palma in our life. We know you love a little Palma in your life. He is a very solid catcher. Like, I think he's stacking up for a nice 2025 season. It'll be fun. But yeah, the BSB top 40, a lot of work goes into it. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. So go ahead and check those out and share it. First thing to talk about, let's go to the big dog. Let's go to the spring breakout roster. That was released a few days ago, Monday, I believe. Last Wednesday. I don't know. Days are all forming together.
A couple days ago.
But we got the list. Who is the biggest? We'll go through the list in a little bit, but who's the biggest name that like you're really excited to watch come Sunday night?
I mean, honestly, my pick might be a little off the beaten trail, and I hope he gets in the game. Would be Yordi Vargas. We haven't seen him in over a year, recovering from Tommy John. I was kind of surprised to see him on the roster. I think that's a good sign, though. That means he is not like fully rehabbing; like he might still be building up. But the fact that he's on the roster, there's a chance he gets in the game. I forget. Is it a 9-inning game or 7?
It was 7 last year, and we were all mad about it.
So if it's 7, then, a bunch of those starters are just a bunch of the pitchers are not getting in the game. But
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 pitchers on there. So, yeah, we're going to be about 4 or 5 short, minus hopefully nothing goes haywire where we have to call the armbar, so to speak. Wild the Innocent, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for always being here, hanging out with us. Who starts at shortstop for the Rocky Spring Breakout? This is fun because the original post by MLB or MiLB had 0 outfielders. I think the only outfielder on there was Robert Calaz and Benny Montgomery, and then everybody else was utility. They've since fixed that. So I thought that was funny. But who starts at shortstop? I think it's Ryan Ritter. I think you're going up the middle, Ritter and Amador at the shortstop to start the game. Like if they didn't start Ryan Ritter, I think we would riot. And I think that would be a very bad look for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I mean, he is like the most ready guy there at shortstop. I think later in the game, it'll be Andy Perez hanging out at shortstop, but that might be like inning 6 or 7 that we see that.
Yeah, I'm excited to possibly see Ashly Andujar as well. Kelvin Hidalgo in his own right, but Ashly Andujar, the big signing guy, like it might be exciting. He's 17 years old, absolutely raked in the DSL last year. He was a DSL All-Star, OPS of 728 and almost 200 at-bats last year. And he's getting the nod for the spring breakout, which is nothing to scoff about. Like the fact that he's up there at 17 is pretty cool. We'll see him at the ACL. We might see him in the Fresno by the end of the year, like a Robert Calaz type feeling. but he is one I hope I see for 2 or 3 innings just roaming around somewhere. So the shortstop position is a little stacked right now with Andy Perez, Ashly Andujar, Kelvin Hidalgo. It'll be interesting how they play that out, but Warming Bernabel is listed as shortstop. That's not right at all. So it'll be interesting to see how they play all those guys. Andy Perez could easily play third base. All of them could play second base, but there's a lot of talent here. It's fun that they're doing this again and they're highlighting some of these guys. Yes, Wildly Innocent. Is there a regular spring game right before the breakout? I think the spring big boys play their spring game and then the breakout plays right after, or it's vice versa. But there is like a double header, so to speak, for the Colorado Rockies on Sunday in that sense. The outfielders, Charlie Condon, we get to see him, Cole Carrick, Robert Calaz, Jared Thomas, and Benny Montgomery. We haven't seen a lot of Condon in spring training thus far, so I think this will be a time for him to shine and show him, hey, everybody, Baseball America, I am healthy. I am ready to rank. Don't put me off your top 100 list again. It's just insane.
I mean, I think that's probably the most exciting watch because we haven't gotten to see him in spring training. You know, how many times do you have a top 2 prospect that's not in spring training? Not super often. So it's time. We need to get that hype going again. Yeah, too much slander this offseason. I mean, maybe it'll like, who knows? I'm not putting that energy out there. They're gonna look foolish. They're gonna look foolish. It's my take.
The fact that you're discounting Charlie Condon and everything he did at college baseball is insane off of such a small sample size in Spokane last year. So we'll see how he comes out doing his thing. I'm excited for Charlie Condon. The catchers, you got Drew Romo, Cole Messina, Brian Bedcourt. Pitchers, Dollander, Brecht, Palmquist, Vargas, Hughes, Hill, Herrera, Blaylock, Agnos, Mahoney, and Prosecki. I love the fact that our boy Prosecki is on there. Obviously Dollander and Brecht, but Prosecki fell off the top 30 MLB.com top 30 list. He's still on our top 40 list. But good to see him have a chance to go out there and prove himself. He worked through some injuries last year, so I'm excited to see him out there. But Tyler, are we upset that Drew Romo and Bradley Blaylock are both on this spring breakout roster?
I mean, it's interesting for sure. I feel like guys who have debuted probably shouldn't be in the game, but I mean, you also got Jaden Hill in there. Yeah. I think that's the only other debut.
Amador
also. So it's kind of funny to have those guys in there, but also, I mean, they're still prospects. We guess we had a little bit of a confusion as to whether certainly Blaylock, whether he was still a prospect.
I don't think anybody knows what his status is right now.
Yeah, it seems like his service time was like logged wrong on certain baseball sites. But I mean, I don't think it's a knock on them for being there. I think they're available. It's a fun event. They probably ask a lot of the top guys, like, hey, if they're healthy and all that, like, hey, you want to be in the spring breakout? I mean, I think an interesting thing and kind of a segue into guys missing from the roster. No Zach Veen, no Yankiel Fernandez. So that's an interesting kind of idea right there. 2 guys still in big league camp right now. They're not in this game.
That I completely missed that. I went deeper. I went Dion Jorge and Luis Casilla as my guys that missed it. I didn't even recognize that Veen and Yankiel weren't on there, which is insane by me because I absolutely love Zach Veen. That is very interesting. I think that might go back to your point, like asking them, like, hey, is this something you want to go do? Zach Veen and Yankiel Fernandez are literally fighting for an outfield spot, whether it's the right field spot, number 4, who knows? So maybe they just said, no, I want to focus on the big league camp. I want to focus on this. This is what I want to do. That's interesting. I wonder if there's anybody in the system that can tell us about that.
On that train of thought, like, does being on this roster, I mean, I think it can't, because I think Bradley Blaylock has a good shot to make the big league roster. I was going to say, are guys who are out of competitions on this roster, like it seems like Amador will go to AAA. Drew Romo's kind of trending that direction, but then Bradley Blaylock probably will be in Colorado. Same with Jaden Hill. So yeah, we gotta ask somebody.
Yeah, because you got Blaylock and Dollander obviously fighting for that number 5/ long relief spot. Yeah, there's a lot of questions coming up as we banter about the prospects roster. It's pretty incredible, which is awesome. Like, I love the fact that we're having that conversation. Like, there's people that we have seen in major leagues that are possibly in the prospect breakout game. Did a Wild Innocent asked, did a new overall farm system ranking come out? Yeah, a few weeks ago, week and a half ago.
I think like last week. Yeah.
Go to BlakeStreetBanter.com. Shoot, Wild Innocent. I'll find it next time Tyler's talking for a long time, which won't be very long. I'll go find it. I'll put it in the YouTube chat and I'll send it. But we broke down the MLB.com up risers and fallers and stuff. So I'll get you that in the YouTube chat there. But it's exciting stuff. I think I'm really excited to see Wellington Herrera do the big, I don't know, we need something, the big Colts. He loves horses. He's just a horse guy. Like he's just hanging out off season with his horses. I'm excited to see him. He was somebody I was really stoked about last year. So seeing him in this kind of stars lights on type thing is exciting. And then the fact that we get to see Carson Palmquist, we saw Carson Palmquist, quote unquote, pitch today. He got his first work in a major league game today, coming back from whatever surgery he was at. He's here to stay. I love the roster. I really do think the Rockies farm system is slept on. It's middle of the road right now. I think there's a lot of major league talent on this with a lot of potential of stars breaking out. And the fact that we get to see it on this kind of stage is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that they do more games like this instead of getting the mixed bag games where you get some non-roster invites. Like, you know, you think of like Owen Miller, Nick Martini mixed with prospects. I would love to have more games where it is just prospects. And you get one game that they in some ways treat like an all-star game. You know, these guys aren't going to put 100% out on the line. Like they're going to realize the forest is through, you know, we'll see whatever the saying is through the trees. It's like, this is another game and it's not even an official game. So yeah. I wish there would be more games like it though. It's so much fun to just be like every at bat or every pitch that your guy throws is something to watch.
Yeah. Top prospect going against top prospect.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Who starts the game? Does Dollander get the nod again, or are we going to see a possible Brecht or Gabe Hughes, who is in minor league camp now, but had a pretty nice little spring training there?
I mean, I think it'll be one of those two, actually. I think with Dollander really been ramped up through spring. I mean, they're ramping him up like he's, you know, like I know the other guys are throwing pens and stuff like that, but Dollander is getting ramped up. He threw like 50 pitches in his last outing. I feel like he's getting his work, and I mean, maybe he doesn't even pitch in this game. I hope he does. It'd be fun. But I want to say that Brecht starts, maybe Hughes, like one of those two guys. That I think those were the good call outs as starting candidates.
Putting it out there, just did some quick math. It's probably wrong. But Dollander pitched on Saturday. 5 days would be Wednesday or Thursday. This game being on Sunday would be 3 days rest. So might not be an opportune time for somebody to go highlight their stuff in front of the masses on 3 days rest, unless we don't see him. If we don't see him pitch Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think we can count on seeing him Sunday. But if we do see him pitch, I don't think we're going to see him in a spring breakout game. They did last year, Wild Innocent. I believe they played the Diamondbacks farm system last year. I agree. I wish that would be a consistent thing. So who knows? I'm not going to complain. The fact that we get this is nice. I want to see these guys. Like, give a lineup that consists of Ritter and Amador up the middle, Cole Kerrigan center, Charlie Condon in left field, with a possibly like Calaz or Montgomery in right, like with an Ashly Andujar, just baby face 17-year-old on the bench, like ready to come in, ready to go eat. Like, that's awesome. And I don't think any of us should be mad about it. But yeah, very interesting to see. No Zach Veen, no Yankiel Fernandez. It's just gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited for it. So tune in, keep up to date with us on Twitter. Probably we'll announce it if we do have a watch along on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Transaction. So there's been a lot of movement at the farm on the spring training facilities. A lot of ups and downs. Minor league to AAA, which. My understanding is if somebody gets moved to the AAA roster, Albuquerque Isotopes, they are still with the big league squad at spring training. They're not on the backfields working as much with the minor league side of things. So when we see a Jefry Yan assigned to a minor league camp instead of the AAA camp, I think speaks a lot more than just, hey, Jefry Yan's no longer with the big league squad. like that might mean we see Yan in a AA Hartford Yard Goats uniform once the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, it more speaks to what's going to happen in 3, like 2.5 weeks, I guess. That's the stat. Like, they got to trim the roster down. I think it's, it sends a message to those guys like, hey, you're not quite there yet. Keep working. I think they probably have like slightly different routines being in the minor league camp, but I think they'll still get into those big league games. Like, they don't all of a sudden want to put all the work onto the big league the guys in big league camp. They still want to have a lot of those guys pop into the game in the middle. So yeah, we'll see some more Yan in spring training games along with the big league guys, and Lewis will be watching, like really hoping that he doesn't build some momentum, because otherwise he's going to strike out 20 guys in the big leagues this year.
Absolutely. Number is 30 for the 1-2 Yan boom celebration. The Yan 2 boom celebration for Mike to do. That was the biggest one. I was surprised by O'Loughlin going down. I was excited going for him, the minor league signing through the offseason, to him potentially breaking out with the arm bar. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen his stats. I haven't seen him pitch. My time has not allowed me to do that. But just seeing the name of O'Loughlin, somebody I was excited about, kind of getting the nod to the minor league so quickly, is a little scary, a little upsetting on what that signing could have been in the offseason. I don't know if you have any insight on any of that.
I mean, I thought he was going to hang around in the big league camp a little bit longer and be in the running for a roster spot a little bit longer. I didn't really think that this was his time, like opening day. But it does speak to, like, larger. We also saw Anthony Molina sent to AAA camp, and those were two guys who seemed like I think Molina obviously being on the 40-man gave him a good shot, but O'Loughlin was kind of that sleeper to be the long reliever. I guess that'll wait. I mean, we've seen the Rockies the last couple of years. They'll bring guys up for just a little bit, and then however they move on from them. I think that's probably where we're looking with O'Loughlin. But it seems like they're really just whittling down that bullpen, and the competition is slowing down. Yeah, surprising it on March 10th. We've got a couple weeks left of spring training, and feels like a lot of big decisions have been made already.
Yeah, a lot of big decisions made already. It's definitely interesting to follow along with. I think it's setting up where we're going to see Bradley Blaylock as the long reliever in the arm barn right now, because it doesn't look like Carson Palmquist is going to be ready for this season to begin. There's 0% chance the Rockies put Dollander in the arm barn the bullpen to start the season. Got to make sure I switch it up every once in a while. So I think it's Bradley Blaylock's long relief spot to lose, which is kind of exciting. We'll see what the severity of Austin Gomber's injury is. Cincy looks good. Marquez looks good. Felt looks good. Haven't seen Freeland pitch very much.
It's kind of, I feel like he's pitched, but I know like the other 3 starters that are healthy, I feel like they've all had really good outings. And then Freeland, he's only pitched 5 innings, so that might have 2 short outings. But he's done pretty well, it looks like, at least based on the stat lines. So
something to watch, though.
It's a sturdy top 4.
Yeah, so there's definitely decisions to be made. Like, we saw Gabe Hughes go down officially. Wasn't expecting him to go out. I think you already said it. Mejia and Justice and Molina go in. Carrick, Montgomery, Ritter, and Thompson. No surprises there, sent to minor league camp as well. So no like dark horse sleepers coming in from the pitching side or the outfield side to kind of sneak in on everything. I think it's kind of narrowed down to the 3 outfield spots. Let's throw Beck in there, even though I think it's his to lose. You got Beck, Bouchard, Veen, and Yankiel still fighting for that spot. But Mr. Martini wants to put his name in the hat and trying to fight some kind of way to get there. And then you have the pitching. Dollander and Blaylock have pretty much solidified. Number 5-6 long reliever going there. And then the arm barn, it's still up in the air all across the board.
Yeah, and I think a sleeper in that long relief conversation is Tanner Gordon, and he might be best suited for that role of, like, Blaylock has looked really, really solid, and I think Gordon has also, but I think the organization's going to put Blaylock a peg above Gordon long term, and that might be like, hey, Blaylock, stay stretched out as a starter. Gordon, you're going to be on like a 50 pitch kind of role. That might end up being what crumbles down.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Give Dollander a few months down in AAA or Hartford, whatever the Rockies decide is best for him to work on his stuff, and play like you're the 5-starter. And with whatever injury goes in and Tanner Gordon, you're going to be the long reliever. This is assuming Austin Gomber isn't coming back ready to go for opening day season. The fact that we're still talking about it is awesome. So we got about 2 more weeks of discussion banter with that topic there. Dollander's outing the other day did not go very well. Did that hurt his chances tremendously for making the opening day roster?
I mean, my take in, I don't remember exactly what I put on it last time or previously. I think it was, I threw a low percentage chance on it last time. I like 20% or lower, even after the Gomber news. I mean, I didn't see him as a guy to make the opening day roster, and that had a lot less to do with him and more just the organization, other guys who were already on the 40-man roster, really more to do with that. And also the fact that, he really hasn't pitched that much in the minor leagues yet. Not that that's all the time necessary, but he could use an additional 30 to 40 innings in the minor leagues before making his big league debut.
I agree. I'm not going to add anything to that. I don't think that hurt his chances at all. I just think it's, hey, we get to see Dollander at #1 top prospect pitch, and we're all excited about it and growing pains. And that's all it is. I don't think there was any up or down movement with his outing last time. Palmquist and Soley, injury concerns at all? We saw Palmquist today. I was excited about that. And I'm hearing Sullivan starting to ramp up. I'm hoping we get to see him within the next week. Don't know where I saw it or where I heard it from, but somebody said Sullivan is almost back to baseball activities, ready to go. So that'll be something to watch going forward. We probably won't see him this spring training. I don't think we see him very much this spring training, but I don't think we see him in the big leagues this summer. But something to watch. I don't know if I'm too concerned about it just yet.
I mean, I'm glad they're taking it slow with him. I'm sure that he could be ramping up already, but no need to rush things with him after a big season, a lot of innings, just slow and steady.
Yep. And last thing, we'll get you everybody out of here, is the Albuquerque Isotopes released a new identity today. Our boy Luke, we have Albuquerque media passes happening. Our boy Luke is going to be on the beat in Albuquerque for BSB, which is kind of exciting. And he went to the press conference today. So look for an article about the Albuquerque Isotopes new Duke City jerseys, as well as some of the other things that are happening jersey wise in the system. But I like them. I like them a lot. It's got the old school kind of graffiti type font with it, with the Duke City nod, which I'm sure you know more about it than I do. I like the red pinstripes. I like the gradient feel from the bottom up. It's clean. The 505 is represented. They pulled a Colorado and put the flag in the middle in the 0 with the New Mexico in the 0 there. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but I like them a lot.
I got to see him. I was expecting with that kind of alter ego, the Duke City thing. They used to be called the Albuquerque Dukes and had this sort of like Sun Devil looking Arizona Sun Devils kind of uniform. And it would be really cool if they brought those back as a common alternate uniform. They are super clean, like classic baseball uniforms. But I do like they remind me a little bit of the Tigers. It's their City Connect jerseys, a little bit like that, although maybe even a step above, just because the colors seem a little bit more neutral for a baseball jersey and uniform. So it's cool to see all the alternates, though. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about. The Fresno Tacos are on a 10-year remodel, and then you got the Thunder Chickens and what was the other one in Hartford? I'm blanking hard right now.
I just love the Thunder Chickens.
The Thunder Chickens. I guess that's what they call turkeys out in the Northeast. Who knows? But look for that article from Luke coming up. I'm excited to have Luke on the beat. Just different outlooks, different coverage that we are able to provide everybody with a lot of AAA. I think a lot of people in AAA are going to get some MLB action this year and vice versa. So it'll be fun to watch the Albuquerque Isotopes do their thing. Anything for the good of the cause, Tyler?
I mean, I'm watch party here in 6 days. And also excited to have the whole top 40 out and to not have to edit any more of those articles. No.
Yeah, dude, there's so much work behind it. It's insane. So thank you everybody that reads those articles. That make sure you give Tyler a little pat on the back next time you see him, or just a little retweet on the post, and we will go from there. Go Rocks, minor league affiliates. Woo!